At my bridal shower, my future SIL gifted me a photo album. Page 1 was my husband, in bed with her best friend. Oops, she said loudly. I thought that was from after the wedding. My bridesmaids looked at me in shock. I turned to my fiancé. He just whispered, it meant nothing. It was before you lost the baby weight. I called off the wedding. A week later, I found out who paid for the photographer. I was supposed to get married last June. It was all planned. We had the church, the venue, the flowers. My dress was already altered. My mom cried when I tried it on for the final fitting. My little nieces were excited to throw petals down the aisle. I thought I had everything I wanted. I was wrong. I'm 32. I live just outside Kansas City. My name's Heather. I met Nate 4 years ago through a mutual friend at a housewarming party. He was laid back, had this steady energy. He was the kind of guy who didn't talk too much, just enough to make you feel like he was listening. I had just gotten out of a messy breakup. He seemed safe. I needed that at the time. Nate had a good job. Project manager at a local construction firm. Not flashy, but reliable. Or so I thought. We moved in together after a year. Things felt normal. Predictable. We didn't fight much. We were trying to start a family when I got pregnant about 1.5 years ago. That pregnancy didn't last. I miscarried at 12 weeks. It hit me harder than I expected. I stopped going out. I lost weight. I cried a lot. Nate said all the right things at first. Then he stopped talking about it. If I brought it up, he changed the subject. I blamed myself. I told myself I'd get better. And eventually, I did start to feel okay again. Not great, but okay. We got engaged last September. He proposed at a fall festival of all places. He had a ring hidden in a caramel apple box. It was sweet. Corny, but sweet. I said yes. Planning the wedding became my focus. My mom helped a lot. So did my 2 bridesmaids, Melissa and Tara, my best friends since high school. We were doing everything by the book. Flowers, cake tastings, registry. My sister even got us engraved wine glasses. The bridal shower was supposed to be the last big fun thing before the wedding. It was held at a family friend's house. A garden party, basically. Lots of pastel decorations, those stupid photo booth props, finger sandwiches. I wore a pale pink dress with white heels. I remember because I spent hours trying to look good. I wanted people to say I looked better, healthier, like I'd moved on from the miscarriage. That mattered to me. Everyone was there. My mom, my sisters, my friends. Nate's mom even showed up with a gift basket. The only one missing was Jess, Nate's younger sister. Jess is complicated. She's the kind of woman who always seems like she's competing, even when there's no competition. The type who makes everything about herself, then acts surprised when people get annoyed. But she's family, and I tried to be nice to her over the years. She showed up about 45 minutes late, wearing a skin-tight white dress. Yes, white to my bridal shower. She strolled in like she owned the place, tossed her sunglasses on the table, and handed me a big black gift bag with a grin on her face. "This is from me and the girls," she said. I didn't know which girls she meant. Probably her 2 best friends who always gave me weird looks. I pulled out a sleek leather-bound photo album. Fancy, thick, custom-made. "Open it," Jess said, sitting down with her phone already recording. The first page was harmless. A picture of me and Nate at our engagement dinner. I smiled. Then I turned the page. The second page was a high-quality photo of Nate, in bed, shirtless, next to a woman I recognized immediately. Her name was Danielle. She was Jess's best friend since high school. Tall, tan, fake nails, fake everything. I had never liked her, but I didn't think she was dangerous. In the photo, she was clearly naked under the sheets. Her leg was over his. Nate was asleep or pretending to be. His hand was on her hip. I didn't say anything. I just stared at the picture. Jess let out a fake gasp. Oh my God. Wait. I thought that one was from after the wedding. The whole room went dead silent. Someone dropped a glass. I heard it shatter. My mom stood up like she was going to faint. Melissa whispered, "Is that real?" Tara was already trying to grab the album away from me. I turned to Nate, who was sitting 2 seats down, looking like someone had kicked him in the stomach. He leaned in and whispered, "It meant nothing. It was before you lost the baby weight." I felt something in me break. I took off the engagement ring, set it on the table, and stood up. My voice was loud, clear, and shaking. "The wedding's off." I walked out. I didn't cry until I was alone in my car. I went home and packed all his stuff, every shirt, every charger, every sock, into garbage bags and dumped them on the lawn. He came by that night, tried to get me to open the door. I didn't. Over the next few days, he texted me nonstop, called from different numbers, left voicemails that went from begging to angry to pitiful. I blocked everyone. I stayed at my sister's house for the next week. I couldn't go back to our place right away. I felt sick just thinking about it. Then I got a message from someone I never expected, Danielle's ex. His name was Brian. We'd only met once, at a holiday party. He said he needed to talk. I ignored him at first, but then he sent me a screenshot. It was a PayPal receipt. Payment for a private photographer. The date was from 2 months ago. The note said, "Need a photo of Nate and Danny for shower album. Discreet. Will pay extra for rush." The sender? Nate, not Jess. Nate was the one who paid someone to take a staged photo of him in bed with Danielle. He planned this. And suddenly I knew. The shower wasn't just a mistake. It was a setup. I stared at that screenshot for a long time. My hands started shaking. I had to sit down on the edge of my sister's couch and breathe through it. I kept reading it over and over, thinking maybe it was fake. Maybe it was some kind of weird scam. But it wasn't. The email on the PayPal account was Nate's. The last 4 digits of the card matched his debit card. I knew because I used to do our grocery orders on it. I called Brian. My voice cracked when I said hello. "Hey," he said. "I didn't want to drop this on you like that, but you needed to know." "Why now?" I asked. He was quiet for a second. Then he said, "Danielle told me everything after they broke up. She thought it was funny. Said it was some kind of prank to humble you. She posed for that picture?" "She did." Said Nate offered her $1,000 to do it. Jess was in on it too. I felt sick again. They called it Operation Real Bride or some crap, he added. Said you were acting stuck up, all wedding this, wedding that. Jess wanted to put you in your place. I only found out a few days ago that you actually called off the wedding. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw something. Instead, I sat there staring at the wall, gripping my phone so tight I thought I might crush it. They planned to humiliate me. On purpose. It wasn't about cheating. It wasn't about a mistake. It was a calculated, disgusting stunt. They knew how hard I'd worked to feel normal again. They knew how broken I'd felt after the miscarriage. And still, they did it. For fun. I didn't sleep that night. I laid in bed, going over every moment from the past year. Every offhand comment Jess made. Every weird look Danielle gave me. The times Nate brushed me off, told me I was too sensitive. It all made sense now. They wanted me to break. But I didn't break. Not really. Because now I had something they didn't expect. Proof. The next morning, I made copies of everything. The receipt. Screenshots of texts. I even asked Brian to send me a voice memo explaining what he knew. He did. In it, he named Nate, Jess, and Danielle. Said they talked about it at Jess's apartment one night, laughing about how I'd cry in front of my friends. I took all of it and sent it to my mom, my sisters, my bridesmaids, Nate's mom, and even a few of Nate's coworkers I still had on Facebook. I didn't hold back. I didn't write some long essay. I just wrote, "Here's what really happened at my bridal shower. If you thought it was just an accident, it wasn't. They planned it. Nate paid for it. Jess helped. Danielle posed for it. Read this and tell me if you'd still marry him. Then I turned off my phone. By noon, my sister was reading me the messages piling into her inbox. My mom said she wanted to drive over and throw hands. Nate's mom was crying. She had no idea. She told me I was better off without him. She said she'd talk to Jess, but I told her not to bother. That girl was rotten through and through. Then something unexpected happened. Melissa, my bridesmaid who worked in PR, posted a message on her Instagram story. It was a picture of the photo album. Blurred, but still obvious. The caption said, PSA, if your brother, his sister, and her trash friend ever stage a fake cheating scene to humble the bride at her own shower, just know she will find out. And she will burn it all down. That post went viral in our town. People started texting me screenshots of local gossip groups. Jess's name was everywhere. So was Nate's. People were sharing the PayPal screenshot. They were furious. A few people even commented that they had canceled work they had lined up with Nate's firm. One said, if he lies like this in personal life, imagine what he does on the job. That should have been enough. But it wasn't. Because 2 days later, I got a call from a blocked number. I let it go to voicemail. When I played it back, it was Jess. She was crying, but not like she was sorry. She said, I hope you're happy. You've ruined everything. Nate's job is on the line. Danielle lost her internship. People are calling me a psycho. All because you couldn't take a joke. A joke. They called it a joke. I saved the voicemail. I didn't respond. But I wasn't done yet. I kept that voicemail. Something about her voice, shaky, bitter, but still full of that same smugness, lit a fuse in me I didn't even know was still burning. She wasn't sorry. None of them were. They weren't ashamed of what they did. They were just mad they got caught. So I decided to make sure everyone kept remembering what they did. A few days after Jess's call, I sat down with my sister and Melissa and we made a plan. Not to get even. I didn't care about revenge in the petty sense. I wanted truth. I wanted people to know what Nate, Jess, and Danielle were capable of. Melissa suggested a blog, but I didn't want to write some anonymous sob story. I wanted it out in the open. So we started a Facebook page, a public one. I posted a clear, honest timeline of what happened. I uploaded the redacted screenshots, blurred Danielle's face, but kept the context. Then, I added the voicemail from Jess with a transcript. Just her voice saying, "You've ruined everything." All because you couldn't take a joke. The post blew up. Friends, coworkers, old classmates, people I hadn't talked to in years, were sharing it, commenting things like, WTF, you did the right thing, and this is sick. Then came the messages. A girl I didn't know DM'd me and said, I dated Nate 2 years ago. He ghosted me after I had a pregnancy scare. Another woman emailed me, said she was Danielle's former roommate. She said Danielle and Jess used to prank their own friends in high school, messing with people's cars, even getting a girl suspended by faking texts from a burner number. It was a pattern. But the biggest shock came when I heard from one of Nate's coworkers. Not just a coworker, his supervisor at the construction firm. He told me Nate had been under internal review for a few weeks. Not because of my story, but because of a job site problem. Missing invoices, wrong materials ordered, hours that didn't match logs. He said my post made them start looking closer. And guess what? Turns out Nate had been charging personal expenses to a company card. Things like dinners, gas, even that photo shoot. He tried to list it as client engagement. That was the final nail. The firm suspended him without pay. Then they fired him. 3 days later, Jess posted some long-winded Instagram story about how she was taking a mental health break and needed to distance from toxic people. Danielle deleted all her accounts. She just vanished. But me? I was just getting started. Because in cleaning out the wedding stuff, flipping through what should have been the happiest pieces of my life, I found something Nate never meant for me to see. An old notebook. It was tucked in a drawer in his desk, under spare keys and receipts. I opened it on instinct, and what I saw made my hands go cold. At first, it looked like normal to-do lists. Bills, project notes, some gym schedules. Then I flipped to the back. He had ratings, dates, names, numbers, and next to each one, short notes. Jackie, 6.5, too clingy. Aaron, 7, fun in bed, too emotional. Danny, 9, Jess helped with this one. My name was in there too. Heather, 8.5. Best overall match, strong resume, might tone down after miscarriage. My entire relationship was an evaluation. Like I was some job candidate he was testing for long-term fit. Like I was AF ****ing experiment. I sat there for hours, notebook in my lap, just frozen. All those nights I held him while I cried. All the talks about kids, our future, the house we wanted to buy. It was all a lie. I didn't know how far down this went. But I knew one thing. This wasn't just about a ruined bridal shower anymore. This was a pattern. A deep, disturbing pattern. And I was going to pull every thread until I found out exactly what Nate had been doing and who else knew. It took me a couple of days to process what I'd found in that notebook. Every time I tried to put it down, I picked it back up. My hands would go cold flipping through the pages. It was like reading a report on a stranger who had been living in my house, sleeping in my bed, pretending to love me. I started calling the women in that notebook. Not all of them picked up, but a few did. And those who answered? They had stories. One girl, Claire, told me Nate pressured her into sex after 3 dates. When she got uncomfortable and tried to back away, he showed up at her work, accused her of leading him on, and then ghosted her completely. Another, Nikki, said Nate used her to get close to her best friend, and then slept with the best friend while still dating Nikki. Then he told both women they had misunderstood what we were. But it was the last girl who changed everything. Her name was Allison. I only recognized her because she used to work at the gym Nate and I went to. She answered my call, quiet at first, then said, "I was waiting for this." I asked what she meant. She sighed and said, "Nate took something from me." And then she told me everything. Last year, she went on a few dates with him. One night, after drinks, he offered to drive her home. She remembers blacking out halfway through the ride. She woke up the next morning in her apartment. Confused. Sick. Her clothes were off. And Nate was gone. She never went to the police because she didn't remember enough. No bruises. No clear memory. Just a deep, dark feeling in her gut that something had happened. Something bad. She blamed herself. She never told anyone. I felt like I couldn't breathe. My skin crawled. This wasn't just about cheating. Or pranks. Or betrayal. This was dangerous. And I had proof. I told Allison about the notebook. She didn't hesitate. "Let's go to the cops," she said. "I'm ready." We filed a report. I turned over the notebook, the messages, the voice memos, everything. I gave them Brian's contact info. The other girls offered to make statements too. They were scared, but they were brave. And then something happened I didn't see coming. Nate showed up at my sister's house. I was in the backyard with my niece when I heard the yelling from the front porch. My sister screamed, "You need to get off my property right now." I ran to the front. Nate was standing there, wild-eyed, hair a mess, his clothes wrinkled. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. He saw me and started walking toward me, fast. "Heather, we need to talk. This has gone too far." I stood still. My sister stood between us, phone already dialing 911. "You're ruining my life," he shouted. I said, calmly, "You did that yourself." Then he broke down, right there on the lawn. He dropped to his knees, hands in his hair, sobbing. "I didn't mean for it to go this way," he cried. "Yeah?" I said. "Which part did you not mean? The fake photo? The notebook? The girl who doesn't remember what you did to her?" His face changed, just for a second. That flash of anger under the tears. like I was the one hurting him. The cops showed up 5 minutes later. He didn't resist. They asked him questions, took him in for questioning about the financial fraud first. But I knew the other part, the darker part, was just beginning. Over the next 2 weeks, everything came crashing down on him. He was charged with fraud. Multiple counts. The company he worked for cooperated fully. His bank accounts were frozen. His reputation? Gone. And then Allison's case moved forward. More women came forward after her. Jess tried to go into hiding, but one of the other girls from her high school days shared screenshots of messages, proof that Jess knew about Danielle's part in the setup, and bragged about Nate being too smooth to get caught. Danielle? She flipped on both of them. Said Jess and Nate had done stuff like this before. That Nate kept lists. That he liked testing women. My lawyer, yes, I had one now, helped organize a civil suit against all three of them. Nate lost everything. Jess was sued for defamation and harassment. She tried to cry her way out of it. Didn't work. Danielle settled out of court and moved to another state. I moved back into my house. Alone. The silence hit hard at first. But slowly, I started putting my life back together. Therapy. A new job. Old friends coming around again. And every time I felt doubt or guilt creep in, I'd go back to that notebook. I'd remind myself who he really was. What he really thought of me. Of all of us. I wasn't some bitter ex. I was the girl who said no more. And for once, he was the one left behind to deal with the wreckage.